Dear friends, given the current global situation, many of us have had our events and ceremonies either postponed or transformed into virtual new ones. Nothing is simple. Nothing is routine. Everything we do seemingly requires ever more creativity, fortitude, dedication, and perseverance. Nevertheless, we carry on and do our best to work around the myriad challenges we all face. I would like to share some personal experiences with you related to the use of protocol in this unprecedented period of time. In 2019 and 2020, the Netherlands celebrates the 75th anniversary of its liberation and the fact that we have enjoyed living in freedom since then. In addition to existing commemorations and celebrations, a wide range of additional large-scale events were planned throughout the country. The overall coordination of the Jubilee activities is the responsibility of the National Committee for 4 and 5 May, where I'm involved as Strategic Advisor, Stakeholder Management and Protocol. The National Committee for 4 and 5 May was established by Royal Decree on 27 November 1987 and helps determine how meaning is given to commemorating and celebrating, and to how the memory of the Second World War is kept alive. The committee's main task is to organize the national observance of Remembrance Day on 4 May and the national celebration of Liberation Day on 5 May. Normally, the national observance of Remembrance Day in the Netherlands takes place on 4 May at 8 p.m. At that moment, 2 minutes of silence are observed throughout the country to commemorate Dutch victims of war. A major commemoration ceremony is held on Dam Square in Amsterdam, in front of the Royal Palace, in the presence of the King and Queen, various representatives of both the Council of Ministers and the Dutch Parliament, as well as tens of thousands of citizens. This national observance of Remembrance Day is held simultaneously with local commemoration ceremonies in nearly every town and city in the Netherlands. At 8 p.m., the entire country is silent for 2 minutes. In this commemorative year, for the first time in history, our head of state was supposed to give an address at the ceremony in Amsterdam on a packed Dam Square. But then there was Corona. Stay home, social distancing, intelligent lockdown, no public gatherings. Despite the extraordinary and difficult circumstances, we wanted to make it possible for the entire Dutch population to commemorate and reflect on the end of World War II, 75 years ago, in a dignified and interconnected manner. We wanted to draw special attention to our veterans and all those fellow citizens who experienced the horrors of this war, but who are also more vulnerable for the COVID-19 virus. Obviously, we had to adjust quite some logistical and protocol aspects of the commemoration ceremony in the light of the restrictive measurements. First of all, it was decided that the ceremony would proceed without public. So the entire square in front of the palace had to be blocked off, as well as all the streets leading towards it. Normally, 2 lines of honor guards are positioned from the main entrance of the palace towards the National Monument, through which the royal procession takes place. But not this time, since it would have involved too many soldiers and veterans. But to still pay respect to their personal stories, a special website was designed to highlight some of their experiences. The royal procession normally comprises of 10 persons, which had to be cut down to 6. It was decided that the chairperson of the National Committee, as host, and the King and Queen would walk in the first line of the procession, with the King as head of state in the center, the Queen to his right, and the chairperson to his left. So the chairperson had the royal couple as guests of honor to her right. Behind the King, the chief of the military house of His Majesty was positioned, with the Prime Minister to his right and the Mayor of Amsterdam to his left. All of them with a distance of 1.5 meters. 2 aides-de-camp, a lady-in-waiting, and the King's Commissioner in the province of North Holland were not included in order to keep it a compact procession. The 2 aides-de-camp were positioned next to the wreath on the side of the National Monument. Under normal circumstances, they would have handed over the wreath to the king and queen, so they could position it on the standard in front of the monument. But in times of social distancing, this handover would be a breach of the regulations, because 4 people would then stand in approximately 1 square meter of each other. It was decided, therefore, that the aide-de-camp would lay the wreath on behalf of the king and queen, after which the royal couple would come forward to arrange the ribbons and pay their respect. After the military signal top 2, the Dutch version of the last post, 2 minutes of silence were observed, followed by the first stanza of the national anthem, played by 10 musicians of military bands. Again, all of them with a distance of 1.5 meters. Afterwards, under normal circumstances, again, 9 other wreaths would have been laid by representatives of first generations, veterans, the Senate, the House of Representatives, the Council of Ministers, the Armed Forces, and the city of Amsterdam. However, since we were not able to have all these persons in attendance at the ceremony, we have chosen to ask a teenage brother and sister, both of them in their Scouts uniform, to lay these wreaths on their behalf, preceded by short video messages of the representatives who were supposed to take part in the ceremony. In this way, we could still pay respect to all the stakeholders involved. As you can imagine, it was a very surreal ceremony with a speech by the king on an empty square, while the entire nation was watching it on television. If you are interested, the full speech can of course be read at the website of the Dutch Royal House. And since all the local ceremonies were cancelled, we encouraged people to pay their respect at their local monument on an individual basis, spread over the day on their way to do their groceries. Since the flag protocol on 4 May prescribes the national flag is flown at half-staff only from 6 p.m. until sunset, the National Committee and the Council of Ministers decided to amend the regulations for this year, officially allowing the flag to be flown at half-staff from sunrise to sunset. On 5 May, Liberation Day, the flags are obviously flown the entire day on top, every year. The Federal Chancellor of Germany, Angela Merkel, was supposed to deliver the 5th of May lecture in The Hague this year, on invitation of the Dutch Prime Minister, and in the presence of many dignitaries and diplomats. Also, this event, underlining the re-establishment of good bilateral relationships in the past 7.5 decades, had to be cancelled, and will hopefully take place next year. Despite the fact that we couldn't come together physically, I was extremely grateful for a sincere online message to the citizens of the Netherlands on the occasion of 75 years of freedom by the ambassadors of Australia, Belgium, Canada, France, Germany, New Zealand, Norway, Poland, the United Kingdom and the United States. And obviously this video can be seen on all their social media accounts. The yearly closure of Liberation Day is an open-air concert along the famous Amsterdam canals and bridges that took place this year in an amended format in a nearby theatre, with a live broadcast on national television, but again without the public. So the traditional final song of the concert couldn't have been more appropriate in this unprecedented time of the pandemic. Dame Vera Lynn's famous song during the Second World War, We'll Meet Again. All the best, my friends. Take care and stay safe.